Good evening, folks. All right, we're ready to convene the North Beach Council meeting for the evening of March 9th. We'll begin with, as we do usually, with a pledge of allegiance. I'm going to ask our new councilman, Paul, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commission will call the roll.
Mayor Fraser.
Here.
Mr. Goodman.
Here.
Mrs. Hagan. Here. Mr. Mickey Hummel.
Here.
Mr. Randy Hummel.
Here.
Mr. Cohen.
Here.
Mrs. Shida. Here.
Okay, John Shea is not going to be with us tonight. He's out of town. Family business. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to approve the minutes from last month's council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have to abstain. I wasn't here.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval from the minutes for the special work session in February.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from the March 2nd work session. That was last week.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, I like where you're stepping up there. All in favor say aye. Okay, scheduled appointments. We have with us Anthony Green from Chesapeake Beach. He's going to make a presentation on the Twin Beaches opioid abuse awareness. Anthony,
It's actually going to be Cheryl.
Cheryl?
Yeah.
I'll be a shadow.
He's my Cheryl.
I know the feeling.
He's always needed. Good evening, Mayor Fraser and council members. My name is Cheryl Green, and I am the co-chair of the Twin Beach Opioid Abuse Awareness Committee. I ran for town council this past cycle in Chesapeake Beach, and one of my major platforms was the rising rate of opioid and heroin abuse and overdoses that have been affecting our community. Well, I lost that seat by 3 votes. It's all right, I'm okay.
Next time.
Exactly, next time. I was able to shed some light on this issue for many of our citizens. And because of this, I've been able to help lead a newly formed committee within the beach, along with Councilman Denton, who is a member of that committee. And our mission in that committee is to raise awareness of the opioid misuse and overdose in our community through education and access to resource information. One of the goals of the committee is to work with residents, businesses, community agencies, and local law enforcement and emergency personnel. Because of Mike Benton's participation in the proximity of our 2 towns, we decided to change our committee from the Chesapeake Beach Opioid Abuse Awareness Committee to the Twin Beach Opioid Abuse Committee to reflect the alliance of our neighboring communities in combating the opioid abuse epidemic. One of our goals is to reduce the number of opioid overdoses in our Twin Beaches, also to increase the access to prescription drug disposal opportunities, provide at least 4 local workshops focusing on addiction and recovery services, increase access to treatment and support group information, and involve people and businesses in opioid abuse awareness activities. So far, we have planned those 4 forums entitled End Addiction that will cover signs and symptoms, stigmas and statistics, enabling and resources. Our first forum is going to take place March 22nd over at the Northeast Community Center around 6:30. Each of these forums is going to provide supervised prescription drug take-backs and offer naloxone trainings as well. We've established partnerships with the Calvert County Health Department, Calvert Alliance Against Substance Abuse, the Sheriff Department, and both Neighborhood Watch programs. We're in the process right now of creating social media presence and a dedicated website. As co-chair of the committee, I would like to officially welcome North Beach and thank the town for being a part of the solution to this growing problem. So that was actually just my my purpose of being here was just to welcome you all to helping us combat the problem in both of our towns.
Well, Cheryl, let me compliment you on taking the initiative to form such a committee. It obviously is a problem that's not only not going away, but it's getting worse.
Yes.
Pennsylvania does not respect town limits. So I think it's, and I hope I see more of this, cooperation between the two towns, that problems, to deal with problems that mutually affect both North Beach and Chesapeake Beach.
Yes.
Mike, thank you for participating already, being proactive on this and getting us involved. First of all, does anybody have any questions of Cheryl?
I have not a question, but today during our, and I see Gretchen in the back there, it seems like her and I are hanging out together more in the last 2 days. We had Farming for Hunger do their presentation, and I know you guys know about those, and it's definitely, I don't know how far y'all have gone yet to contact them, if you have. I just know they're a wealth of resource.
With the work that I do with Calvert County Health Department, we have already worked on alliances with Farming for Hunger. So the good thing is that with CASA, Calvert County Health Department, we already have a lot of the materials, a lot of the connections in place. Now that we have communities actually getting involved, it's easier for us to be that conduit between these materials and the different things that we can do as far as resources to go directly to the communities instead of doing things on the county and state level.
Fantastic. Can you remind us how many overdoses we had last year between the two towns?
Between the two towns, I believe that's one of the shadows.
That's why you said numbers.
Between the two towns, I believe we got up to about 14. I think we were right there with Lusby area. But we were one of the highest in the county between the two towns. And
Is that fatal or is that total?
so those were fatal, not just total.
Total's higher.
Yeah, so recently, I think about a week ago, we just had another death here, and I believe it was Chesapeake Beach. So with my work, we keep with the statistics, and the truth is, one death is too many, and from what I've been doing when I go out to the schools to talk to the middle school students, where we have kids that are 13 saying they just got out of rehab, we really need to start nipping this in the bud a lot sooner than later.
We, one of the things they mentioned today that as a parent, it's scary, but they had a local high school baseball team come, and 3 of the kids on the baseball team, a local baseball team, have and are using heroin.
It
A
happens.
high school baseball team.
It happens when I go to the middle schools, kids walk up talking to me about their brothers or anybody using. Some of them may use themselves. We've had high school students that actually came up to us and let us know about the problems that they've had. So it's prevalent and it's happening to our youth. And we need to jump out ahead of this as much as possible and show that unification in our towns to make sure that the town knows that we care about it. It can't be that we can't arrest our way out of the issue, and our law enforcement needs our help just as much as everybody else does. We need to make sure that people are more aware and have more education.
There's a very prominent location in Annapolis that is a outdoor market, basically. And I know the sheriff, they fight that battle, and I'm not sure what Annapolis is doing off of 765. I'm sure the sheriff could tell you that exact address, but even if we have to get, wonder what they're doing up there to help fight it.
Yeah, well, I do have, with the MAPAA, I would lie to you if I could tell you right now exactly what it meant. But what we do is we get together with the rest of Southern Maryland to talk about exactly what to do in the different areas and making sure you have some unification of the message. I work on the prevention side, which means that my measurable goals won't be seen until 20 years from now, when there's a whole generation that's not using her. But the thing is that most people are not aware of the risk, so they take the risk with no idea of what could possibly come from it. And those things happen. 80% of the people who end up on heroin started from painkillers. So it's really about that awareness, it's really about that education. And with what Cheryl's doing here, this is really helping just the town have a definitive focus on getting that education and awareness up.
Can I ask you a question? I'm curious. I know the committee's new, but in terms of law enforcement, like how do you see the committee connecting with law
Well,
enforcement?
Officer Ricky Crest is actually a member of our committee as well, so he does give us his perspective from a law enforcement view.
And we get statistics, we also are able to have them come in and help do more drug take-backs. Right now, we only have 2 places in the county for drug take-backs. With the sheriff that's actually on the committee, when we have these forums, we can have drug take-back days right there, and that's supervised by law enforcement. So law enforcement has a seat at the table because there's certain things that they can do under their supervision. And we also get another way of insight. We want to work with families that we work with Calvert Hospice, who do grieving programs with families who have people die from overdoses. We work with recovery specialists from Calvert County Health Department. So we want to get every piece of the puzzle in place to be as formidable as possible to get kind of information to the people in town.
Thank you.
Yeah, I worked with CASA for about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And, but just last month, there was a wonderful program on Maryland Public Television about parents who were users, and then a young girl,
Bernie's daughter.
Bernie's daughter.
Bernie's
We
daughter.
saw that.
And it gets closer to home if you show something like that. I don't know whether you can get your hands on that to show people or not.
We definitely can get our hands on that, and then we also.
It was empowering for me. My children are all adults,
Mhm.
and fortunately, I didn't have to go through that. But it made a big impression on me the way it happened, and the Farming for Hunger and what she saw, and who was there.
We're also creating content as well. We're working with Southern Beach players for an opioid abuse sort of monologue, kind of like
Well, we actually did.
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
We had the Twin Beach player actually talk to people who are going through recovery, and we're creating a play for that specifically for Calvert County and specifically for this area to see how it affects us and what goes on in the lives of people from here. So we are actually funding that ourselves along with Twin Beach players to make sure that we can have that in the future.
And one of the things we'd like to do is stop using it as numbers and letting people understand these are your neighbors, these are your coworkers, or your coworkers' children. We put faces to them, it hits home, as you said.
Well, you've done a lot of good thinking up to this point. From this point forward, has your committee developed kind of an overarching strategy of where you go from here?
Well, like I said, from right now, what we're doing is putting out forums so that we can educate the communities on signs and symptoms, on resources that they're not sure that are available in the town or in the neighboring towns. That's what we're doing currently right now.
Education.
Yes, more educational awareness,
Through these forums?
especially getting out to parents and letting them understand that your medications that are in your medicine cabinets are just as dangerous as a gun you might have in your closet. So you definitely need to lock those up as much as you do your guns, and keep a look on those with your kids and your kids' friends coming over. So we're doing a lot more on education awareness right now.
And the first forum is scheduled.
It is March 22nd at 6:30 at the Northeast Community Center, and that will include a prescription take-back as well as naloxone training for anyone interested.
And also for the future, now that Governor Hogan has really chimed in, put up the amount of money he has, I work where the money comes through. For the work that I do, I have to spend out that grant money to make sure that everything gets out to the communities. The biggest thing is that when people from the communities go to a Calvert County Health Department website, it's more, logistical, it's more clinical, you can't really connect to that. What we're doing is setting up something that we can get people to come directly through the town, do something that's made for the town, by the town, so that the services can be right there the way they need it. So the website doesn't have a lot of jargon, it has a picture and a title, and it's a direct link to what type of services you're looking for. We want to simplify the process as much as possible, because when you get that little window of somebody saying, I need help, or I need more understanding, or I need to know where to go, I need to know who to talk to, we want to make sure that it's immediate. So that's what we're looking at for the future, to have something in place to make sure that people are aware, educated, and that they know where to get help from without any delay or hesitation.
Is there anything more at this time, at this point, that the town of North Beach should be doing?
We just want to make sure that I've already talked to Stacy and asked questions of Dawn, but I haven't talked directly to her.
And Mike will be
And then
our
Mike is
liaison.
there. So it's really about promoting, making sure that we want to make sure people know that it's available to them. We can't make people just come in and be a part of it, but that availability, now that it's on the town level, it's not the same as the county saying, hey, come to this event. Hey, this is coming directly from town hall, this is coming directly from your mayor, this is coming directly to you. We know there's a problem, we want to be here to help, we want to have accountability and responsibility for this, and that's what's going to be the most important.
You have a face on both sides.
Yeah.
They have to see their face, but they have to feel like
Right,
it's the
because a
website.
lot of people just feel as though, they're alone out there. We've had somebody recently that dealt with an overdose who said we didn't even know that they had any needs in Chesapeake Beach or North Beach.
And one of the things that we're doing once we do the rollout of the website and all the resource information is we would like to have one of the people on our panel come and speak with the person at Town Hall who may possibly answer the phone should someone call here because they heard that we're doing something, aren't quite sure where to go, but you can have someone here who is trained and who will know exactly where to send them, if it's just our website or if it's just a phone number to the health department. We have Kathy Letney who is willing to come in and speak to whomever that is at the Town Hall so that they'll be able to pass out those resources.
Well, thank you so much. It's a wonderful effort that you all have undertaken. Any way that the North Beach town can further, the aims of the program, you be sure to make sure that we're aware of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Anthony, for what you're doing later in the town.
Oh, yeah, it's looking really good.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, our public safety report, Lieutenant. I assume you're aware of all this.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna piggyback on that a little bit. I sent out an email just the other day about what we did in Oak Street, and that investigation actually started here in the beach, and what you learned in the email, what we recovered, what we didn't recover was the day prior, there was a prescription filled for 120 oxycodone pills, 10 milligrams, and that bottle was completely gone overnight. So, what else you don't know is that today is Thursday, so Tuesday, I was in a meeting yesterday, and Tuesday, Anne Arundel County put out a bulletin in their county, which Councilman Benton said, a lot of our heroin comes from that district there, Pasadena and Annapolis. And they had 17 overdoses on Tuesday night alone, 3 fables out of that. So there's clearly a bad batch on the street, so we started discussing at the sheriff's office, running some interdiction teams, follow them down from Annapolis and stop them before they get into the county here to see what they can do. So we're trying to be proactive and stop it before it gets into the county. And, and here in the beach itself, we're doing what we can with this thing set us up. But
Well, congratulations on the action you all took a few nights ago.
thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
If there's any questions on the crime report, if there's no questions on the crime report this morning, I'll point out, you probably mostly have noticed the rise in the destruction of properties. There was 4 of those this past month. We're working, they come from, many of you may have seen the young man who's sweeps the street midnights and stuff like that, picking up a cigarette butts. He's responsible for these, and we're working with the town, state's attorney and adult protective services to see what we can do to get that guy some help and work out the situation. But we're aware of where they come from, and we'll work with proper people to get that rectified. Any other questions?
Thank you, Ron. Joanne, what report here?
Report for the reporting period of January 1st through January 31st. The beginning balance in the general fund cash was $358,000. Total debits was $795,000, and total credits was $609,000. Ending balance in the cash account was $545,000. Investments in MLGIP was $3,196,000. MLGIP sewer capital is $34,000, and MLGIP water capital is $7,000. Total cash available to the town of North Beach for the month of January was $3,783,000. For the same period last year, it was $3,003,000. Calvert County hotel tax payment was $325,025. It was 0 last year for that period. State business license was $16.56, and last year it was 0.
Okay, council, you see the breakdown of the receipts and disbursements over 7,500. Do you have any questions of Joanne?
Yes, sir.
Do I have a motion to accept her report?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carried, thank you. Thank you, Joanne. Donnie?
Good evening, everybody. Before you have a list of tasks that Public Works has been working on in addition to our routine tasks. First item, I just want to give you all a little quick update on Chesapeake Avenue road raising project. The contract has been signed and notice receipt is given for March the 1st. Contractor has not showed up on site yet. I did talk to him today. And talking about the time frame, and we need to get this done. Later on in our business items, we have a rebid for the streetscape project, and we'll talk to you about that. But
We're assuming he's waiting.
he was waiting. He's actually the only one that did the rebid for the streetscape, and it was a winner, low price on it because he's only there, and he kind of wants to put those two packages together so they get to take care of everything at once. So, but I did talk to him today, and I make sure we do that. We get real busy. And,
He has until the end of April.
yeah, time's of the essence. So we should be here next month. We'll be ready to start, depending on the weather. It's called a little bit of bad weather. First part of next week, but Monday's is planning to start. So, Public Works removed all the existing old fence that was around the pump station there. And what we were doing, we went in and removed all the fence, and then we're trying to get that site up to grade, so we don't have to do any work over top of the new concrete. When you go by that area now, you'll see that grade that you see some straw and seeded today, but that's actually the elevation of the road there. So if you're walking sidewalk where you see that new storm drain grade, that's the level that the new sidewalk's gonna be at. We went in, like I say, we did everything there we could, behind that area, got everything ready, straw and seed ready to go. We had to relocate a water hydrant that was also in the way of the new project, and, like I say, contractors expect to be on site Monday. Streetscape here, number 2, I'll just, that's is all on our business items. I won't waste time going through this because we're going to revisit that in a few minutes on all business. The only thing on that is not in the business items is the crosswalk. We're still working with 2 vendors that have alternative to the crosswalks because we took them out of their street bid this time. So I'll bring you more information that day for your work session at time. That'll be the last thing that'll happen probably in the project, so we have time for that. We had a tree contractor go through town, and it's a lot of the oaks in town and all over town that have been dying, get some disease in them. So we had a lot of limbs hanging out over down the streets, right of ways and that type of thing. What we did, we brought in a bucket truck and we kind of did a 2-day trial to see how much you can get done in a couple of days. So we went through town, we put red ribbon on the most dangerous trees and did a lot of, all we could trim in 2 days to see how it worked out for the price. We actually got a lot done. Addressed, we had a couple people that called in, so we had some tree problems, so we addressed those also. We got 2 full loads with the big truck that you see with the shipper of just limbs with that bucket truck running through town. So that's something that I'd like to, talk to Joanne about, maybe put in the budget every year where we come back and hit the bad areas, and then we just do a maintenance thing, then it'll be easier, after that to keep up with it. So that worked out pretty well. We attended a meeting, a wetland permit agency's meeting, Councilwoman Shayla, myself, Tom Hoffman, and Gene, went up and I let the mayor reveal some news on that thing later on that meeting with, we met with the Army Corps of Engineers, met with Andy May of MDE, and went over to hold up emergency and kind of revisited everything about the flood bank. That's how we let the mayor give you the good news there, if he's clear on that, or Councilwoman Shayla.
I can handle that.
Right. I think that's more than fitting for you after this long wait. You gave me champagne there.
The trucks are rolling.
Right. Fifth item here, we attended a state highway meeting, nothing John and the mayor also had some information about that. We went up and attended a good meeting, it was kind of a meeting on the raising the road there, kind of got an update where they were at. The project has been funded, so that's moving along nicely. They asked for some information from the town, we already sent it back to them, so they're moving ahead with all their studies and all their preliminary work. I did set up today, I called PG&E and set up a meeting with the mayor and one of their reps for later on in the month to look at the, what options we have for utility lines in that area. So you're gonna come down, meet with us, and we're gonna go over that and see what we maybe possibly have, we can do with the utility poles in that area to kind of clean that area up. So That means to be, before the end of May. Continue to work with stop signs, this has been on for a couple months, but we're now at the 9th Street, need to place it first tonight, so 10th Street, any questions? Like I say, a lot of times, this month, we're going to Street, so I think we're ready to do information.
Let me call the council's attention to your item 2. You mentioned Mr. Derek Marshall from Brightview Lighting, who is here tonight, who is prepared to give a short overview and answer any questions we might have, because we need to place an order for the poles because of the time it's necessary for them to be fabricated and delivered to the town. I'm not speaking about the light fixture that goes on top of the poles. We can deal with that later. But the poles themselves, we have to make a decision on that and get those ordered. When we get to that on the agenda, it's under business item D. Derek is right here. He's available to answer any questions.
All right, that's correct. He provided in your packets also tonight some heater joint downlighting, so you have a couple samples in there, and also has a light pattern, which he'll give you a quick 2-minute discussion on how the downlighting would pattern it grows, and some different things in type questions.
Any other questions of Donnie?
Yes. Donnie, the tree trimming, was that any branches that hung over that were, the tree itself was in somebody's yard?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, whatever hung over the right way, we went ahead and took care of it. A lot of the oak ones, but they fell, they got a car, first of all. So we tried to, we started like going 9th Street, tried to do a street at a time, but it's pretty time consuming moving the boom truck. So then we went out and just got the worst ones. And, we got a price per day, so we were just seeing how the price worked out and how much work, but I think that quite a bit of time. But we tried to get the word, yeah, a lot of school bus complaints too, also, with scraping inside the bus and stuff like that. So we tried to take care of those. So, we tried to get the worst first. Like I said, I think we had a week, we probably could go through them and maintenance type thing, where we wouldn't, a couple of days a year, even though, I'll put a number in our budget, so you'll see that next month, for when we get to the budget. I'll put a number in our budget for routine type work.
I do have one other, and again, I know you're busy with the big projects, but the small pond.
Time for everything. That was we've been going back and forth, and we had that rain, I don't know if it's, we've been watching it, but it was, one time there was a problem with the growth in the waterfall there, and that was blocking out the water from going back in the pond, was on top, and it was shooting out the sides. So then we refilled it, and, we ended up doing like 9 inches, putting in drought time, and we were on every day. So we watched it was like an inch of evaporation, so I don't know if it's that much, but it didn't drop. It gets to a certain point, it stops, because it is a leak in the line or something like that. And actually, I contacted Corey, who, built the pump, had him come on the back, come over, just do a courtesy look at it. He didn't see anything, he could pick out right off the top of his head, but we do, we can schedule him to come back and do like a cleaning type, one drill game. We actually had Gordon Bowen from Bowen's Groceries in Honeytown donating some fish. So Matt had to come by, he called and said it was all right. So some of the big white Gordon had some in his pond, he wouldn't fit anymore. So he called and asked if there's a bring some down. So I meant to mention that anyway, he got to eat some bigger koi.
I went in there for a sandwich about 2 weeks ago. This is payback.
Right. I'm surprised it didn't. Yeah.
Well, when you look at the pond from the street,
Right.
to the right there, there's like a pump. That
Right.
pump's always
Stop
exposed.
it. It gets that level and stops right.
So it's weird that it's that low.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to point, because I was
Yeah, we're
undermining
Yeah.
the liner of the stones. I was just
It's
wondering.
not wet anywhere around there, that's what we did, we went around the road all around the outside, so you can't see where it's going, it's not like a wet spot or a puddle or whatever, anywhere around there. I can't see that much evaporation, but it is windy, and we had any rain, so, but we fill it up, we were watching it, we every stuff, I know it's not like it's not like rapidly dropping, it's bad. But I did have him, and he's ready for that, they go through.
All right, is that it for Donnie?
Really quick, Atlantic, remind me where we are.
I'm waiting on, we ordered the barriers there from a company to match the ones we have. You mean the seawall?
Yeah.
Yeah, we ordered 8 new barriers and they're being made because now the state highway requirements, you have to make the barrier wider to withstand more traffic, speed or whatever, so they don't make the same shape that we have. So, but the guy, he can make them, so we give him first order to go and make them. He told me it'd be like 3 weeks, so they should be close. And completed, and then they're gonna deliver them, and then we'll have to sort of paint it back and everything.
Okay, so that's all, the rest of it's done?
We fixed one more spot, but then, like I said, there was so much trouble to see where it actually is. We fixed another bad spot, mid-block, between 7th and 9th count, and that was where you really see it sagging, so we went ahead and fixed that, that repair's been done. And the rest of them are minor right now, where you can't really justify spending the amount of money you have to come out to do that much. It's kind of gonna be a monitoring thing every, we ride out there once a week, but we might have to fix, we might have to do that way.
Patchwork.
Yeah, we might have to, because the prices we were getting to do something and not sure that it would work was over,
Yeah, no,
15, 20 grand or whatever, and then we don't know if that even was the right place or whether it would work or not.
So what's the timeline on those barriers? Just
They
in
should be
case somebody
here,
asks
maybe
that.
next week.
Next week?
Yeah, they've been ordered and then, I think he gave me a 4-week lead time, they probably ordered for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Don. Thanks, John.
Good evening. My report for March is before you. Summarize. Very good news. Flood modification permit by the Corps of Engineers. Came into town hall this week, and we're putting mayor's sign and signature on it because we have to agree to it, and there's no reason we wouldn't. And I talked to Mr. Schleer today, and he promised us that now the permits be issued, that dirt will start flying the last week of March. Finally.
Yes.
I'll expand on that just a little bit in my report.
Good, good. As Donnie mentioned, we did go to the coordination meeting with all the state highway engineers. They're still in the preliminary, what they call a preliminary investigation phase, which wraps up this summer. And beyond that, then there will be hard engineering for, take that thing to the construction. Meryl, I think Meryl.
I'll expand on that a little bit in my report.
Okay, good, okay. Still pursuing the permit on the dredge project, had some conversation with them even today, and hope something may be breaking, in the next week or so. The Pier Pavilion project, Mickey, did you pass that down?
Yep, you got it.
Did everybody see it? The plan that we had at the work session last week didn't depict the proper location for the 1,000 square foot structure that MDE tells us now is permitted under the law. So the 1,000 square foot structure located there, we may even tweak that a little bit to make sure we have proper access around it. But we are now in the process working with both MDE and Critter Fish, getting their agency approvals to be able to get a permit to do that. That's underway.
John, can I ask you a question about that? I'm just curious on this drawing, like, how much footage is between this
5 to 7 feet.
to walk, and then here, I mean, I guess it kind of comes about, and is that right at the T, sort of in the middle of the, I mean, is this to scale pretty much? So it'll be,
Yeah.
kind of walk, like about how much space is that?
That's about 6 or 7 feet. And we're thinking of, when we get into final architecture of that corner, we may bevel that a little bit to give that more room to get a vehicle through there. Richard's even pointed out the vehicle to service the lights on the piers has to get through that threshold. So that's one of the items that we'll address in the design.
That's too far.
Yeah.
Street Gates project, we have a lot more to talk about tonight, and especially the bids for hardscape work on Chesapeake Avenue. I'm still working with staff on the lighting, which we'll talk about tonight, and the landscape work. And Don gave us an excellent report on the Raising Chesapeake Avenue project underway.
Does the council have any questions of John? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Okay, thank you, John. Okay, Rick, we have your report. Anything that you'd like to emphasize?
Actually, fairly decent month. Most of what you had on the list from last month, just about everybody on there has complied. The one that you see that is still pending is a long, unfortunately, not much we can do about the long-term eviction process. It's been going on for probably close to 3 years at this point. The bank is paying, I mean, they're paying the water bill and everything, right, the bank? After the 6th Street house? Yeah, so the bank is actually paying the utilities and the water bill and stuff there, and we're waiting on another pending eviction before we can actually go in and the bank has agreed to fix the property. The problem is the people that won't allow the bank on their property and won't vacate, so we're kind of just stuck.
What happens next?
The longest it should take would be another 90 days, and then they'll have possession of the property, and the bank has agreed to fix anything wrong with the house, and then they renovate the whole thing. But at this point, the bank can't even go there and do anything that, the people that are there has allowed the bank to go in and clean the back portion of the house, and it was so bad, they actually found a car back there. And we didn't realize it was there. But at this point, I'm in contact with the real estate agent who's handling the eviction, and they are constantly trying to gain access to the house to fix the outer portions of it, but at this point, we're just not stuck.
Rick, for the ones that say abandoned property, when we say the letter sent, I mean, what are we trying to do?
Well, the code says, once the house has been vacant for more than a year, the town gives them notice, and then the property owner has 6 months within to make the house livable and abide by all codes, or the town can actually apply with the circuit court for a permit to raise the property and just make it an empty lot, as opposed to a dilapidated home.
So, all these ones that are abandoned are
All these
also
houses are
dilapidated, like,
They're not completely dilapidated. They've all been empty for well over a year, 2 years, some as much as 4 or 5 years, and now they're empty.
and not being taken care
Not
of,
being
just
taken care of. Correct.
just completely abandoned.
Correct.
But this is very important, that we not allow structures like this, to continue to, dot the landscape. Right.
I mean, I'm curious, like, on some of these, well, when the letters were sent, or where
April
we are in the
17th,
process of-
April 17th is the end of the 6-month period.
So these are all coming up on that first 6 months when you can.
It's just 1 6-month. They've been empty for a year, and so they were notified after we started looking into it that, they're a year. And we can prove that there's nobody living in there for a year, and so they got their notice according to the town code that they have 6 months to comply and make the houses livable. And,
There is a bill, Housing Elements to try and make foreclosures to
Well, see, the one house, the bank has actually tried something called a cash for keys deal, where they basically say, look, the eviction is, the foreclosure took place well over 2 years ago at this point. And they actually offer to buy the keys back and say, here, here's $4,000 or $5,000, just walk away. And from what I get, it's only worth enough money to sit down. They'll wait for the sheriff to go through one, whatever they need a court order.
Oh, some of these have people in them.
One.
Okay, the other one are just totally abandoned, nobody lives
Really
there.
bad. One we talked about on First Street, which is, there was 10 initially. 2 of those have been sold. Actually, 4 of those have actually been sold and are now in the process of either being resold by the company who bought them or rehabbed by the individuals who bought them.
Thank you, yeah, this is really important.
Very.
And the rest of the month is basically just the same type of things we have all the time: cars, trash, furniture outside. People seem to still not understand we have something for bulk trash because we don't put it out the night before. So, but other than that, nothing big.
I just feel like people should, I mean, it's get a fine or something if they put it out and just leave it there for weeks. You know what I mean? Or you guys end up spending your time picking it up.
We have had
I
an
mean,
issue with the alley on, off of Fifth Street, right behind the North Beach sign, you come down Fifth Street.
Yeah.
We've been having a lot of people dumping trash there. But even like me and Don talked, like, they picked up the one day, I picked it up one, Richard from,
Somebody picked it up today.
somebody else. So, but we're not sure that it's actually coming from inside the town.
Right.
There's no cameras there, there's no way for us to really, so, but it's been more prevalent here lately.
Is there any kind of sign there about?
Put a camera on the corner of your house.
I'm just gonna put a no dumping fine on there, but then I don't want to.
I know, it's
Sign,
kind of
they're
like-
coming in town.
Exactly. No, it doesn't.
Somebody suggested, that's what I'm saying, they're just gonna, I mean, they're going in the middle of the night, they're just gonna throw it in the tank.
I suspect this is a problem that every town has to deal with, and some problems have no solution.
Yeah, so I mean,
We just deal
we'll
with
pick
it.
it up as we can.
You know, I've had the pleasure over the last couple of years really becoming friends with a lot of the local towns around here, Indian Head and all the different ones. And I hear the complaints and even up in Prince George County where there's a lot of, small little towns and code enforcement, they, when we start talking, I tell them what you're doing and the hard work you're putting in. I mean, they're all envious, I can tell you that, because these issues that we see, they're 10 times that in a lot of towns.
Oh, I know, I have a friend who works in Laurel, another one in Greenbelt.
Yeah. So what you're doing is working, just keep doing it.
Exactly.
Great job.
Great job.
Appreciate it.
I had one question.
Yes, sir.
Are they avoiding real estate taxes? Is that one reason they're abandoning?
No, I mean, they're still responsible for the taxes. The one house that we're dealing with now is actually, the state actually sold it for failure to pay real estate taxes. The problem comes in is that the person bought the house, it takes them 6 months to actually be able to take possession of it when it's part of the tax sale. And part of the finishing of buying a tax sale house is you have to go through an eviction process of the landowner. Well, the problem in this case is the landowner died 5 years ago, so they're having a difficult time figuring out what they're supposed to do with the house. Even the attorney that's assigned to the house is not sure exactly what the process is at this point.
So these elevated real estate taxes that go on with the town itself being a resort town, and then the price of living in that house. Have you seen any problem in that regard?
No, I haven't been able to say that any of the houses that are abandoned have to do with anything that the town has done.
Or the taxes are increasing?
Yeah, no, I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Dawn?
Hello.
Hello.
So you have my monthly report for February, and I'm sure we started hearing you talk about the website redesign, but that's what I've been working on for the most part. We had another online training and conference call today. We're still scheduled for a mid-March go-live date sometime maybe next week, maybe 4 days later. Other than that, created some advertisements to promote the town and Widows by the Bay. Began work on the 2017 town brochures. I do a few brochures. One is handed out at the Welcome Center. It includes rules for the beach and the boardwalk and all the fees and rental fees for the area down there. The other brochure we take to conventions, expos, kind of take outside of our area here. We send them to all the welcome centers in the state of Maryland and Cabot County. Sometimes we get requests in here to mail them to different places. So working on those 2 town brochures, prepared the state of the town presentation. Richard attended a job fair at the community center, and I helped him gather information and material over there so he could hopefully recruit some town attendants for this season. Other than that, just working on some presentations and attending meetings and website updates on the current website. There are 2 websites going on. Only one of them is live. For this month, we had a total of 54,381 website hits. an average of 1,942 a day. After visiting the homepage, the top 3 pages visited were the county calendar, beach and boardwalk rules, and the beach and fishing fees. The top 3 downloads were the online brochure, the feasibility study from May of 2012 for the Performing Arts Center, and the 2016 State of the Town. It's a slow month for Facebook. We increased our likes by 9 for a total of 7,973. Just have some upcoming events and things going on in town. We have our community cleanup April 8th and 9th, where we provide dumpsters on the visitors parking lot for residents only to clean up their yard and houses and get ready for spring. We have the Contest Cares Connected Town Day on April 22nd. Also on that day, we will do the dedication of the Welcome Center for Sally Donaldson. That's 11:30. Then we have the Lewis Claggett Remembrance at Sunrise Garden Shelter, same day. April 23rd, the Welcome Center beach opens for the season. May 5th is the first Friday night farmers market. May 20th, we have a movie on the beach, and I believe it is Star Trek, yeah. Then we'll have a concert the next week, and then all the rentals at the boardwalk, they begin May 27th. I want to mention that Jane came to me about the Green Team wanted to do a survey as part of the certification for Sustainable Maryland. I've gotten the survey ready to go on the website. It will be on there tomorrow. I'll have it on the homepage and send out an email blast for that.
And please, everyone participate.
Could I say, could you repeat the Lewis Claggett Remembrance information, please?
That's April 22nd at 12:30 at Sunrise Garden.
Okay, I had stopped by town hall sometime back and was told that y'all were gonna make a plaque for him and things like that, so I wondered if that was kind of.
Yeah, we have a sign to place at the garden. For his remembrance.
Kind of acknowledging as our
Yeah.
first park ranger.
We call him our park ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was awesome. He was one of the first people I met when I came here. And he hooked me up with other people, and he was just really kind and amazing, and was just, such a part of the town, and so many people as he walked the boardwalk, know Lewis or knew Lewis, and really missed him.
Yeah, lost way too soon.
Yeah. And,
So
Yeah.
April 22nd, 12:30.
April
At
22nd.
Sunrise Garden.
So you got a plaque for him?
Yeah.
How about a tree? You got a tree for him?
There's a tree in the back that we could definitely put in his name, because he used to get the fruit off of it.
That's okay. You should have a tree in his remembrance and the plaque as well. Where are you going to put the plaque?
Over on the fence in front of where he lived there,
Oh, that'd be good.
where he surveyed the goings on in the park, yes.
And wherever you want to stop to talk to him.
Dawn, I want to talk to you tomorrow and next week too about putting the updated feasibility study on there instead of this one.
Okay.
So I think people are probably looking for that.
I mean, I guess we can, is it okay to remove the old one at this point, or?
Well, let's leave it up until we get the new one.
Right, right.
We'll talk about that. Okay, we have, Veronica's not here, is she? Joanne, can you tell us what Veronica's doing?
She's working on the tap fund for the state highway. That round is opening up April 16th, due by May 14th, I think it is. She's already submitted 2 applications for the Maryland Department of Energy for 2 vehicles.
Yes.
Her energy grant for families to have the opportunity to purchase or install and need energy efficient appliances. That we're waiting to hear for approval on that on May 1st. Forest Heights is sending her to the Main Street convention in, I think, Pennsylvania. Isn't that where that is?
Yeah, I think it's Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah, Pittsburgh,
Somewhere.
so she'll be attending that and gathering information from both towns.
Awesome.
So that's basically.
Yeah, Council, if you look at her report, you'll see that we're applying for a grant in order to purchase an electric vehicle for our code enforcement officer and one for the waterfront. And it also includes 2 electric charging stations, one which we'll put down at the town yard and one in the town municipal parking lot on Chesapeake Avenue.
Right, that's correct.
But, so we're applying for that. Rick still does his job by riding around in his own vehicle, so the time has come. And this is part, Jane, for your sustainable green policy,
Right.
they should know that we're applying for these 2 electric vehicles, yes.
I think forward to what we already have. I'd like to see.
Yeah, and the TAP grant is for the boardwalk, which we hope and expect to build eventually down there where the road will be raised through the wetlands between 9th Street and Anne Arundel County, so that those who jog or walk or even ride bicycles won't have to do so on that very narrow road, because there are no shoulders on that road. The State Highway Administration is not interested in funding that, so we're going to seek our own funding in order that it can be built. And it needs to be, it is being, I know they're not funding, but they need to take it into account in their design work. Yeah. While I'm talking about that section of the road, let me just mention that we just got some very recent information. John alluded to it earlier. This is the schedule from the State Highway Administration now for the work to raise that section of Route 261 from 9th Street. They've been down probably, for 6 months maybe, as part of their preliminary investigation. They expect their preliminary investigation to be completed by July of this year. Plan, specs, and estimate for completion by August of 2019. They advertised for the bids November of 19. Opened the bids in February of 2020. Award the contract and issued a notice to proceed April of 2020. So, it gives you an idea of how slow these things are. So we're talking about 3 years, at best, at best.
Actually,
The work
that's
to
a pretty
begin.
rapid pace for state highway.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, for
2020 would be when the actual work would begin.
Yes.
Actually, it's been longer than that. So when I first moved to town, that was the first moved to town.
That gives you an idea of how much lead time you need to get projects like this. So it's, although we've been talking about it and we need it, it's going to be apparently 3 years before work will actually begin to raise the road. The good news is we have 3 years to find the money for the boardwalk. So, anyway, I won't have to give that in my report. Okay. Let me acknowledge a guest we have here with us tonight. I met her last night at the Southern Maryland Municipal Association meeting. Gretchen Hardman. Gretchen, would you stand up for us, please? Gretchen is the Southern Maryland Intergovernmental Representative for Southern Maryland, Tri-County area, from the Governor's Office. This is Gretchen Hardman. Gretchen, so nice to meet you, to see that you're interested in Southern Maryland. I know you're making 3 trips to the beach here.
Yeah,
Last night,
I-
tonight, and
I
we
think
have a
it's-
meeting tomorrow.
Find my own apartment or something. Good timing, though, right before summertime. But yeah, I mean, so Governor Hogan really wanted, I have a colleague representing the Eastern Shore, Western Maryland, and the other counties, and they, you know, he really wanted boots on the ground to, you know, he wanted us to be helpful to the citizens and the local governments and the municipalities.
So when we need to appeal to the governor, it would be through you?
Well, it's
Make-
yeah, so I'm gonna meet, I wanna meet with everybody, I wanna find out your needs, priorities. I've been taking notes, you know, like the state highway, so tomorrow when we meet, I'll probably ask you a little bit more about that project, see if,
If we can accelerate that.
Yeah. let's see,
Okay.
great,
Thank you,
thank
Gretchen.
you.
You're welcome to stay. All right, time for public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have a question. It's kind of like jumping off of this wonderful couple here and this lady here in the board. I understand that Project Chesapeake is coming, and that is the counseling facility for the drug and alcohol treatment. And my concern is, it's a lot of us in this community and in Calvert County that do, you know, qualify to be counselors. And I just want to make sure that, well, I'm still working on 30 credits, to be honest. But I just want to make sure when they do come, that we will have a fair opportunity to get one of those jobs, since we are of the community especially, and we know some of these people who need, you know, assistance and help. So I don't know who do I speak to about that, but I'm glad you introduced yourself. And I just want to know, am I on the right track with that concern?
What you called, when you opened your remarks, you mentioned something about Chesapeake?
It is called, because I heard it, because in this county, you have to hear everything by the word of mouth. It's not advertised. Word of, you got to have the ear out there. But, and I did call this company 2 days ago, and they said they will be in this county. And they're from Annapolis, and it's called Chesapeake, Project Chesapeake, and it is counselors that's going to be stationed here, somewhere in Calvert County, but I'm thinking around here somewhere, that will be heading up the drug program, counseling center for that are having substance abuse problems, alcohol and drugs. And I think it did come from the Governor Hogan's, in fact, I know for a fact, it came from his initiative. I saw it on the screen, I am on the newsletter, but I was watching TV, MSNBC, and I saw it going across the screen, $50 million initiative given to, you know, drug prevention and whatever else is needed from Governor Hogan's office and Governor Hogan himself. So I was just making sure that, you know, people like myself and this lady here, Carolyn Hardy, when we put in for application, she already have her master's, I'm still working here, but that it will be fair, and that the citizens will be able to have a place in that facility or somewhere in the county to help with this situation.
This is all news to me. I doubt that the administration of this project will come through the municipalities. I suspect it will come through Calvert County. I think your remarks might be more effectively directed at the Board of County Commissioners. Anthony, do you and Cheryl know anything about this?
Project Chesapeake is not a governmental agency. They have a spot in Elton, Maryland, Annapolis, and Brooklyn Park, and they're looking to hire in Leonardtown. So they'll be in Leonardtown, Maryland, and on their website under careers, they have 2 Leonardtown, Maryland jobs available right now to apply for.
Is that helpful?
Yes, so far for her, she's ready.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Anthony.
Can I comment on the festival for you?
Sure.
So I need to come back?
No, I think you're loud enough.
I'm good from here. All right. Just wanted to let you know that this Saturday is the last day for submissions for the North Beach American Film Festival. So far, we have 50 films that have been submitted. We have stuff from Alaska to Texas, and we're doing pretty good. LA, New York, we have films that came from all over the country. So what's gonna happen after that, we're gonna whittle it down to get about 20 films, solid films, great films to show. We're gonna have a free screening for families here in the North Beach Town Hall in the morning for an hour block, and then after that, the rest of the festival will ensue. Just wanted to let you know that Calvert Arts Council came on to sponsor the event, and they've also put up $1,000 for a program that we're going to do for Calvert County High School students to send a write-up on why they would like to make films, and the top 2 chosen out of them will get $500 apiece to do a short film just to premiere here at our festival. Also, besides that, Southern Maryland Film Festival has come on board to volunteer for our program. We started them after they were looking for places, and I said, well, since you guys aren't doing one this year, why don't you come on and help us out? You can see how we do things on our side, and get back in the saddle next year. So far, Southern Maryland Film Festival is on board. Calvert Arts Council is on board. I spoke with the youth group, Sharon Hall, today, who is going to donate wine for our networking event on the pier that Friday night. And we have a great, it's going to be hard making decisions for what films we're going to show.
Those are good decisions to have to make, aren't they?
They're great decisions.
What's the
They don't
date?
like to choose one. Say again?
What is the date of the film festival?
June 23rd through the 25th. We're going to offer festival passes for $40. The individual waterfront screenings will be $15 a piece, and during the day we'll have different screenings here for $10 a piece, and the educational seminars at North Beach Community Center will be free to the public. And we have a rain date also, July 7th through 9th.
Well, we can't thank you enough.
Thank you. It's going to be a pretty good event.
We're very proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the business items, we have now a bid from, the only bid from Chesapeake, for Chesapeake Avenue streetscape from Stanley Concrete. Donnie, do you have a recommendation to this council?
Yeah, I do have a recommendation. As council members, we put out the hardscape portion of the streetscape bid previously. When we received those bids, staff thought, that covered putting in the tree islands, patching around the tree islands and the crosswalks. Those bids came in extremely high, so staff recommended going back out for bid. But in this bid that we received, the Stanley Concrete, we took out the off-wall portion of the job, and we looked at Chesapeake Avenue, and we seen the 3 wells, seen the shape of Chesapeake Avenue, and we thought it would be better to did repave, mill and repave the whole Chesapeake Avenue, and they do a complete and simple job. So what we did, we put it back out, and repave, put the mill, put in the tree island, and repave Chesapeake Avenue. And as you can see, we had one bidder, Stanley Concrete, who was the same company that we awarded the Chesapeake Avenue Road Race project to. Came in at $161,612. That actually was cheaper than the price of one of the contracts they did just for the crosswalk. I feel this would be much better use of that money to put the tree islands in and work with Stanley Concrete like they always did before. And I think the price is actually cheaper on Mellon's Bay than portions of the Chesapeake Avenue. So I think we want to work with them. On good faith and on this. Of course, it works out benefit for me too, I love the job. So I would recommend awarding the contract to Stanley Concrete $460,600.
Just to remind the council, this is the contract that he did Dayton Avenue, that really
Contract
excellent
did
job.
Dayton Avenue. And what he would come in and do, he would mill, instead of, before we were kind of cut out, put those concrete islands and make a patch on it, patch loading, and that would be the street. This east plan will come in and mill it out, shorter the road, doing work for tree islands, and milling the complete road, and then repaving everything. So it's a nice, uniform project.
It just occurred to me that if you just did part of the road, people would say, why didn't you guys just go ahead and do the road? You know, what it
The
looked like.
Chesapeake Avenue, we had a couple pretty bad sinkholes, one there third, and, Chesapeake, we have a bad dip there. And the road's cracking up, so that's, that whole, you know, it gets a lot of truck traffic, there's a lot of traffic, so we felt money was better spent.
All right, do I have a motion to make this award to Stanley Concrete in the amount of $161,600? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Any opposition? Motion carried unanimous. Thank you. I think that's it.
Item we have,
I'm glad that we were able to
right,
double down with Stanley.
that's all sent out.
All right, how about the fencing now, Donnie?
As you know, we put out the fencing, that's the fencing that'll go around pump station. You see where we're doing the work at, there at the Chesapeake Avenue Road Bridge, and it also includes putting new fencing. Right now, we have 3 different types of fencing that runs along between the senior center and Boys and Girls Club. So what this bid was for was, the fencing not only for around the pump station, but also a nice section of fence that runs from Chesapeake Avenue pretty much to the gate to, divide, you know, the Boys and Girls Club and the senior center. We received 4 bids. Low bidder was a company out of Pennsylvania. I called and checked the references, and emailed them out, and they seemed to be a very good lot. They had a lot of commercial work, a lot of references in a full page, so I would not see a reason to award them.
Are you worried about being something?
Now, he actually, they're from Pennsylvania, started by Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but they said they're familiar with Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia.
They do a lot of work. They do a lot of work beyond their home base. They're set up to do that.
And one thing I wasn't worried about is, you know, if they just come in and hire a subcontractor to do the job, but in their resume and in their, like on their webpage, they use all their own employees and don't self-support. They do a lot of jails, a lot of commercial work, a lot of government type facilities, so, not the jails, not a place where they have a lot of fences around jail. But they're, you know, they're familiar with traveling, and also the bid amount was $2,800 less than our, you know, the next bid on there, so it's, you know, quite.
Can I go ahead and make a motion?
Yes,
Make
you
a
can
motion.
slip it in quick.
Fencing contract to Able Fence LLC in the amount of $29,600.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm going to vote no, not because I have any problem with the company, but I just like to see us have a local Talbot.
Yeah, I would have preferred that.
And I know we've done this before when we've done with the low bidder and got sued, so I know we don't want to do that, but anyway.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carried. The award is to Able Fence Company in the amount of $29,600. Okay, we also solicited bids for the town's annual flower bed maintenance and ground care services, a job that Kelly McConkey has been doing for quite some time. We received only 1 bid this time, is that right, Joe? That bid was over $60,000, which is way beyond what we had budgeted for this, and quite frankly, one that we can't afford. So I'm going to make a recommendation to the council that we reject this and rebid. Do I have a motion to reject the bid and rebid?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, Donnie, let's talk a little bit about the lady.
Tonight I brought things, the mayor used earlier, Derek Marshall, and he looks like a young guy. He's got about 30 years of life experience. His dad was one of the founders of Branch Electric, who was a big electrical supply house in the area. And I brought him in just in case council has any questions or comments or needs to know type of material. So he is the rep for NOS, which you have in your package, and that's the rep that we chose for the poles and distributor for that. Distributor, I'm sorry. Yes. Poles and the basis, and then also the literature you see in there, he provided that for the heads. Because we talked about downlighting, not going with the same tech lighting that we have here, which looks old fashioned, doesn't really fit the nice new look that we want for Chesapeake Avenue. So So he's here, he can stand up and answer any questions you have. What I'd like to do tonight, the council could make a motion to go ahead and order the polls because there are 8-week lead time. We kind of discussed in the staff, we discussed a little bit last week at the work session. The staff kind of prefers the fluted polls because we think that would look like what we have right now.
Like the ones on Bay?
Like the ones on Bay Avenue, like the ones on the pier, like pretty much all the polls we have are
Yeah.
fluted style.
Yeah, not like those, but like.
Yeah, that's actually the head. Can you go to the picture, Kelly? Like that?
I agree with it, like the ones we already have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fluted, like say, they're on the boardwalk, they're at first, second, third, fifth, in the fire beds.
Need a motion?
Like
Yeah,
the ones on
let,
Bay.
need a motion to place the order for how many, Donnie?
12 polls.
12 polls. We're not talking about
That's
the
it.
down lighting at this point, just to get the, yes.
Well, black.
Sorry.
And that's,
Obviously, is it, are they, sorry, are they black or that espresso like?
they're black.
The current poles are fiberglass poles, and they have some holes and damage into them, and they're not holding up. These would be a cast aluminum pole. Those are ring grade. The rest we can talk about. poles.
That's the same, and that's the same type of hat on the field, the same type of material, same grade.
So those are
These
like
will be,
espresso.
these deals are going to be bolted to the, actually the core concrete, bolted to the ground. Instead of the poles, you see sometimes wiggling out because of the damage and everything else. They can withstand a lot more wind or damage, so they're, you have the base to cover that up. So we bolted down, bolted, so the direct area will go direct. But what we can do, I talked to the rep from BG&E too, this week, and if we do this, I like to do this post order, because we can go out actually put those concrete, sonotubes in the pad for the poles, go ahead and install the poles, and then be ready, so when we do a switch over, they'll already be in. We can do that up front, have it ready. We can mount them behind the sidewalks of the plant. We can do that while the existing poles are still lit up. And Derek can tell you, we can put any type fixture that the council and, so desire on top of these poles. So it fits.
But that's important, Donnie,
That's
the
really
transition from the existing to the new, that it be done seamlessly.
That's a real important factor, because you figure, if you cut off all the lights and just figure out how dark would it be, so we're gonna try to do that within a 2-day period, maybe in phase like first or third, first, and then we're gonna try to do that smooth as we can, so we have everything done up front that we can, the poles and come ready. That's a lot less for us to worry about to make that transition smooth.
Do we need to have on there a place for the Christmas lights? Do you plan to use Christmas lights? Do we need to put a GFI box in? Or
The poles that I
can that
see
be
don't have the
packaged?
GFI option, high or low. Your choice of whether you can hook it up. Now, your current poles have a stainless steel banding that the state highway uses a lot. It's kind of rig your banner arms on there. I've provided in the quote the banner arms, you can do single side or double side. So if you have a banner for Christmas and you have a banner on all year, it's up to you whether you want a banner on one side or both sides of the pole.
And we need to make that decision before we put the order, just to put the casting to make
You
sure.
can always go back and add banner arms.
Okay.
Banner arms, like
Okay.
the receptacle, I would go ahead and, it doesn't cost that much more to do receptacles on the poles now, and then they're factory made, and we don't have to, like they're saying, we don't have to hook them up.
That's why I'm asking now, is like, if you even want to think about it, we should plan to put the GFI receptacle on the pole, whether or not we use it, but have the pole cast ready to accept it. And then I know we're not talking about heads, but for downlighting, will the pole be able to take, if we have to do a longer arm to make sure we get straight, like, will it be able to take?
Yes, see, since we're going from a fiberglass to an aluminum pole, your weights limits and your
Increase,
and
yeah.
everything else
Okay.
is more sturdy. Plus, there's two sides of the anchor bolts that he's talking about, placing in the concrete, bolting down. We're going through bigger,
Okay.
3/4, we're going 1-inch bolts.
So it can take
Um,
stronger. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a lot heavier duty than you have. Now, the general size of that pole is going to be 3 1/4 inches, which is an inch thin, and any arm or head you want to put on top of it
Yeah.
will work.
Well, the downlighting is just going to be on the sidewalk, it's not going to be out over the street.
Yeah, that next slide, we have a slide that shows kind of a pattern, and we're thinking of what they call number 3.
patterns in the packet.
Okay.
They have the patterns in their packet.
If you look in here, downlighting providers, they have like different type of lights in there, and you speak more of it, unless than I can.
Right, the distribution pattern on the lights, you have options. So if you want the light to be more elongated along the walkway, or if you want it to kind of go out to the street a little bit. But more importantly, you can also get to go back a little bit. The fixture that you guys were looking at is shining straight down. So there's a lot less light pollution, which is a big deal. Currently, you have it going kind of all over the place, which doesn't really help anybody. So it would be very directional and a lot less light pollution. And near the waterfront, especially sea turtles and stuff like that, that's a big deal nowadays. I don't know if there'll be any sea turtles in the bay, but.
It's not Chesapeake, so.
Yeah, but,
Derek, what's the lead time on the lighting fixture itself?
on most of those poles, it's going to be 4 to 8 weeks.
Oh, really?
We have to get on that pretty
Well, the
soon.
fixture itself,
LEDs are
then.
pretty much making as they get orders, stuff like that, they're not just having it in stock. Most of these manufacturers are coming from California, or they're importing it from China.
We don't have a lot of time to decide on that.
No.
No,
that's gonna be. Are we near, are we near a consensus, or do you want to wait on this until?
I would say move forward on poles, but I don't want to talk more about, having the light pattern definitely helps with discussion on.
Yeah.
On the head.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion for the poles. This is with the GFI?
Can I just for clarification, and sort of planning ahead, when we say poles, are we talking about ordering the ones like what we have on Bay right now? It seems like if we go with those same ones that we have on Bay, then we'd have consistency, and maybe in the future, if we want to change out the heads on Bay to what we do on Chesapeake, then everything would match. So,
The poles are identical everywhere, right now, they're all.
Yeah, the same, it used to be the same poles you have all throughout town.
Yeah.
are the
The
ones
poles
that,
will all be the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have the same as Chesapeake.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, they included, back
I think it's the ones that Overlook Park are, I think they're skinnier.
That's the only ones that
Yeah.
are different. We had 3 that we put in Overlook Park that were, we had a deal on them, they were up there.
Right.
So we put them on the view there, but they're round, and they are straight poles, they're not fluted.
Okay, so they'll be the same ones.
They're
we have on
fine, it's
Bay.
fluted, but same way happens Bay Avenue.
That's good, then I'm good.
Yeah, Bay Avenue, Fifth Street, Third Street, First Street.
Yeah, the difference, Glenn, is the ones we're ordering tonight are aluminum, the ones down in Bay and up here.
Probably last. Yeah, that's gonna be.
These will last and hold up and
Yeah.
not chip and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a much, I mean, I can give you the pound ratings or
All right.
whatever.
That's not necessary.
My only
Close
question,
to 100 mile an hour.
yeah, my only question is for the electrical outlet, the GFI. Is that gonna be an aerial one and a base one, or just an
It's
aerial?
just one. If you decide whether you want it at the top of the pole or the bottom of the pole.
I would recommend up high, because now we
Yeah.
have lots of people plugging in, like cell phone chargers and everything else, so, I mean, it's not a big deal, but it is kind of a big deal, you know, you'd be
You could get one
surprised.
each if you wanted, or it was like.
Yeah, and then also, like, we put briefs or whatever on there, you know,
Yeah.
it'd be up high.
Well,
Anything
I-
we put, it'd be up high.
I knew we'd have them up high for the Christmas decoration.
So you could get one up and.
You could.
Both, absolutely.
We might want to
Even that
look
would-
at for Bay, having done events down there and having to run 4,000 feet.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, is there
electrical.
an advantage in having one lower too, in terms of.
Well, the disadvantage is like controlling and plugging to it and steal your electricity.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
problem we
yeah,
had.
yeah.
We tried a couple when we first did Bay Avenue, because remember, we put them over from the PG&E, and we put them low, and then you had people unplugging the lights all night, you know,
Yeah,
like
okay.
this or whatever. If you put them up out of reach, then there's gonna be a lot less problems with people can't handle it.
Okay, the motion is to order a dozen aluminum fluted black poles with the GFI at the upper level. Okay. We have a motion to that effect.
I will still move.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
You'll get your name in the minutes.
Thanks. How about Derek and I, so we could show you at least the heads and then any questions on them, and then hopefully by the work session, maybe we can.
We have to.
Yeah, put that on the work session for, we'll make a decision there for next month.
That's fine. If you don't get any questions, I'm still, educating you on later.
All right, under ordinances and moving on to ordinances and resolutions, council last week made some decisions regarding changes to the fee schedule. So we need a resolution to enact those changes. Do I have a motion?
Move that we adopt resolution 1701.
Is there a second?
Second?
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carried. Resolution 17-02 is one that I had put in there on fairly short notice. It shouldn't be a very controversial one. I got something from MML about, is your town participating in the mutual aid agreement for public works? And I'm saying, no, we're not. We should be. Donnie, can you tell us, you're familiar with this?
Yeah, I am familiar with it. The Public Works MML group has been trying to get all the towns to sign up for this. And to be honest, I thought John Shea might have sneaked up with it, maybe not. But what this is, this allows all the towns that are in this to switch equipment. Kind of like you have a major natural disaster, like you had a good example was the tornado that had to go through the Playa and a huge back. What this does, it allows you to send your equipment down to a town like that that has a natural disaster. You can send out pumps, manpower, whatever they need or request. And this allows you to get reimbursed from the federal relief programs. When they come in, if you're not signed up for this and you send equipment down, let them use it, you might not get reimbursed for that. If you signed up and have this agreement, then that automatically allows you to get reimbursed for any hours, any manpower and equipment. And then also, if we have a flood or anything up here, it allows us to call the plate and do the same thing. So it's kind of like a sharing agreement between all the public works.
You might call it a mutual aid agreement.
Mutual aid agreement, that's a good idea. So there's the name. But it just makes sure that we get reimbursed. And if you're not signed up, you could have not.
Is the council willing to take the step to enact this resolution?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Ordinance 17-03. John, you want to tell us why we're doing this tonight?
Sure.
I mean, you alluded to it earlier, but
Okay.
this has to do with the canopy on the pier.
No, this has to do with the critical area remapping.
Well, what? I thought we had to.
We do, yes,
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Critical areas. Critical area, state Maryland critical area law identifies as the area that is 1,000 feet from the limit of tidal waters or tidal wetlands as being governed by the critical area law of the state, which basically manages the development within that area, within that 1,000 feet for environmental quality, environmental impacts. So in the critical area program was, I think it was enacted in 1985. And it was enacted on mapping that DNR had back in the 80s that identified where that actual shoreline or limit of tidal wetlands was to where you started measuring the 1,000 square feet. And we've been using that 1,000 square feet from the 1980s since 1980s. About 3 years ago, DNR and the Critical Area Commission have done a lot of field work, aerial photography, mapping, and they have reestablished where the limit of tidal wetlands and tidal waters is today. And they have, state law now requires us to adjust our critical area maps to reflect that the 1,000 square feet is now going to be measured from where the new line is on the DNR critical area maps that we got in 2015. So we're required under state law to adopt the new critical area maps. What this does to the town, it brings into the critical area, designated areas of the town, two areas. The first area is this one here, and that is generally between 6th Street and 8th Street, and between Dayton Avenue and Greenwood Avenue. Bringing this area into the critical areas is really no impact, because the area is already developed. Most all your lots in that area are developed, so this has no impact on an existing developed property. The only thing is, there might be a few infill housing projects here where they might have to do some special critical area planning to do it, but it doesn't affect the way of life of anybody that already has developed property here. The second area that is increased is west of 2nd Street from Erie to Greenwood, that small sliver there. Again, like the first area I showed you, that area is already substantially developed, and we don't really expect any development activity. So again, this change by adding this area into the critical area overlay district has no impact on existing landowners in that area.
So what about if somebody tears something down and rebuilds or something?
Well,
like
if
that?
you tear something down, you still have grandfather rights to recreate it. Basically, the big thing with critical areas is impervious surface, and creating additional impervious, because that affects your stormwater. So if you tear something down that's already impervious and you put it back, there is no impact.
Or make it bigger. Yeah, make it bigger. Expand the footprint.
Yes, Dad, the front of the house is in yellow. And my house, half of my yard went now all yellow.
This doesn't have anything to do with like, this doesn't have anything to do with flood insurance.
You're getting at it.
You're in it.
Your property gets at it.
Okay, that's like the highest spot in town. What's the?
No, it doesn't have to do with height. And again, those lines are from 1,000 feet from the wetlands around the sewer plant in Chesapeake Beach.
Okay,
Okay, so you start there, man, that's why the lines are way over here.
Okay, yeah, that's right, because I'm looking.
Okay.
You're in there.
Well, I'm gonna get flood insurance now?
That's what I was gonna say. Does this have anything to do with flood, does it impact flood insurance?
No,
That's a different
has nothing to do with flood.
This is not an optional thing.
No, this is
No, it's
mandated
not.
by state law.
Right.
All right, do I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
I move to introduce ordinance
03? Okay, we'll put that on the April agenda for action. All right, Mickey, why don't we start with your report?
I wanted to thank everybody who came out. Half the people are left already though. But all those who stayed, thank you. There is a Bayside History Museum and Library event this Sunday. It's entertaining the troops. Vince and his younger son Finn come and sing some songs that were done for the troops. Past that, I know the events will start kicking up soon, so we'll talk about that in April and May. Coming up, have a good night.
Thank you, Mickey. Gwen?
Thank you for sticking around to the end of the meeting, the few of you that are here. Nothing big to report. I'm not going to steal Mark's thunder regarding the update on the berm, so I will just say everybody have a good night.
Thank you so much for coming. I know we have some exciting news coming from the mayor, so I'm going to pass my time on to the mayor.
Paul?
Same here.
Last week I went to the reading of the HUR, that's Highway User Revenue, up in Minneapolis, and it looks pretty good that we might get some of our money refunded. But MML is very concerned about Senator Miller being for this. So I've asked that you all call Senator Miller's office and tell him that you would like to see highway user revenues returned to the municipalities. It's returned to the municipalities, not just to everybody, but the municipalities. this could be important one. So if you need his number, I have it.
Do we have a bill number for that?
Oh, what's in my phone, 945, 46.
You sure?
Yeah.
Look, I was just gonna say, apparently Mark has an announcement, so that's what everybody else said, so, have a good evening.
Okay, this is in reference to the berm. And I don't have to go into a historical perspective on when this started and the ups and downs that we've had to go through to get to this point. But I am happy to report that I will receive in the mail any day from the Army Corps of Engineers a permit to begin work on the berm. I have a copy of the letter that I'm going to receive. Let me just read a couple of highlights from that letter. It says, as a result of our reevaluation of the existing non-compliant work described in our letter dated January 17th, and I read that to you a month ago, and the requested modification, the project with the modification has been found to be, and this is in quotes, not contrary to the public interest.
That's the best we get.
Yeah, that's all you're going to get. Therefore, the work description for the flood bank construction is amended to state, now listen, to construct a 26-foot wide by 1,800-foot long earthen flood control dike approximately 67 feet channelward of the mean high water shoreline, impacting approximately 20,800 square feet of tidal wetlands. To construct an 8-foot wide by 112-foot long revetment to tie into the existing revetment and impacting approximately 896 square feet of tidal marsh, and to construct a 25-foot wide by 95-foot long channel in the tidal marsh creation area by excavating approximately 1 foot of the surface of the existing wetlands and in placing 2 approximately 10-foot wide by 95-foot long channel protection areas impacting approximately 2,300 square feet of tidal wetlands. What? Isn't that?
That's great.
Your cooperation and compliance with these terms will result in no further action by this agency. I haven't seen any action from the agency in months. You are requested to indicate your acceptance of these terms by signing and dating the statement, which was mailed on March 3rd, certified, but which has not arrived in North Beach yet.
Okay, that's, something's wrong.
A copy of this letter will be furnished to Mr. Andrew May, who is their corresponding regulator in the MDE. Gene, who understands this language much better than we do, and has advised us that as soon as I get that letter, sign it and return it, as soon as Andrew May at MDE is notified that the Corps' permit has been signed, that it's consistent with MDE's permit, then MDE will issue the permit to begin. And the bottom line is that Gene is expecting to be in the water on or about the week of, was it March 27th?
Or the end of the month.
He said March 27th.
Yeah, March 27th, yes, the Monday. That, yeah,
It's on my guy.
Hey, we'll believe it when we see it, right?
But at what point do we, I mean, if they say March 3rd, that's, I mean,
That happened. Well, it's
we
just-
should have had it by now. At what point did we tell them, yeah, received it?
What happened was this person was supposed to mail it, but it was in like the mail room for like 2 or 3 days before, Kathy Anderson gave them a certified mail, but whoever was in charge.
Well, don't you remember, we sent a certified letter to them, I told you, and they signed for it?
Right.
They signed for it.
And
Then they said
and then they didn't respond for 5 or 6
Then
days.
they said they didn't get it, and I said, oh, wait a minute, I have it here where it's signed for it, I had to make a copy of it, send it to them twice.
And then she said, oh, yes, here it is on my desk.
So you're saying though that they confirmed it didn't actually go out on the first?
No,
I don't know.
Six.
No,
Yeah.
no, they didn't have it with the,
Same thing happened to dredge
with
program.
the permit.
All right. But
They said,
I think there is light at the end of this tunnel.
Yes.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, council.